Namaste. Welcome to Wise Owl Career Guide. Today we have Miss Nayanthara Bose with us, who has done her specialization. I'm saying specialization because it is a specialized field in architecture. She's a B Arch and she's been working as an architect for last 7-8 years now. So let's welcome Miss Nayanthara Bose. Welcome, Nayanthara.
Hi, hi.
Hi.
Thank you for having me over.
Most welcome. So, Nayanthara, tell us, did you want to be an architect right from the beginning, or was there at any time in your 11th, 12th a little bit of indecision before you
Uh,
finally took this?
so architecture, since my dad is also from the same profession, I
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to be an architect from my childhood, and it was never an option, but it was ingrained in me that this is what
Okay.
I want to do, and this is what I will be doing. And seeing my dad, I mean, I'm very close to my dad, and I have always idolized him. So it was the only option for me to be an
Okay.
architect. Yeah.
Okay. So that was out of your choice only option or family pressure?
No, it was, I wanted to become an architect always because, even when I was a kid, my dad used to make, we have a lot of model making. We have to make miniature models. And so my
Right.
dad used to make those models at home. And I was his assistant, getting the glue, joining the pieces together,
Okay.
sketching with him. So
Mm-hmm.
it was what I had always done, and I always wanted to do. And he would also get these phone calls from the site, from the construction sites. So I would mimic him, and I would
Okay.
that मैं भी side में आ रहा हूँ, तुम लोग पहुंचो. So things like that. So it was always I just wanted to be an architect passionately.
Oh, okay. So you did your bachelor's in architect, and then what was the first job that you took, and when you got your appointment letter, the bubble
Yeah.
in your head about that, what are you gonna be doing compared to what it was on the first week of the job? How was that different?
Okay, so it's quite interesting because if from we have a 5-year course like medicine, like any other professional course, like
Mhm.
engineering, we have a 5-year course, and every year we have summer vacations and winter breaks, and so I have always worked with my professors from first year.
Okay.
So my professors had also been my dad's professors, and it's a very small world. So
Okay.
in our field, so
Mhm.
I have always been working with them. 2 months, 3 months, I would simultaneously, even during college, I would work with them. And then we have in our fourth year, we have 6 months of internship.
Okay.
So and some people pay, some people don't, and we don't get a lot of payment. I mean, I used to get 3,000, I think, per month. Yeah, that's quite less. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, difficult to even get your conveyance out of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to travel from East Delhi to South Delhi, and it was quite a task. But we really, in whether in our education field or in our job culture, we really have to work a lot. We have to put in more than 12 to 13 hours um, on the screen, keep on working, and it's hard. It's hard, and it's an expensive course. You put in a lot of money because we have a lot of printouts, huge sheets. We have
Right.
put in a lot of money, and when it's time to get a job, you don't really get paid. So it's almost like yeah, it's difficult, especially in
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of your career. I would say architecture in all is difficult because in the beginning of your career you really get paid less, and then later on, when you have achieved a position, then people tend to go in for younger kids who are getting, they don't have to pay a lot, and
Right.
then So it's a difficult field, but that is what it is. I always wanted to passionately do it, and it was a choice I made. Uh,
Okay.
and in the first job, I really enjoyed because I was in INTAC, and INTAC is Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage. It's
Mm-hmm.
government funded. Central government funds projects for restoration of heritage monuments.
Oh,
So even though I was getting paid a lot less, I got to travel all around the country. I
mm-hmm.
was managing projects in Amritsar, Odisha. Um, I went to the South Hubli. I went to Indore. So it was a good exposure,
Mm-hmm.
and I love history. So a lot of monuments I got to see. I got to measure them, sketch them out, do a detailed planning, get into the restoration project. So unless you are really passionate about this field, I don't think it could be your cup of tea because, um, like I said, you don't get paid a lot and you have to put
Okay.
in a lot of hard work. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to have that determination that kabhi na kabhi to पहुंचेंगे कहीं.
You will reach there.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so when you were doing these restoration work, I'm sure you were at that time, because it was start of your career working as a junior architect.
yeah.
So, what was the the profile actually entailed? Did you actually get a say into how this happens or the materials to be used? The sourcing of the materials is also the architect's job, or what happened?
Yeah, yeah. So I joined as a project architect. So
Okay.
project architect can be a senior architect, can be a junior architect, but since I had less experience, I was a junior architect.
Okay.
And usually we would be four people in a team.
Mm-hmm.
And our senior would not visit the site. Uh, they
Okay.
would just send us. And
Mm-hmm.
the main thing that we had to do was to first document the monument. So we have to take all the measurements. Every inch of it has to be measured and documented. We come back and then come back to the head office and then create a proposal, and then we would present it to the government that this is the documentation, all these things have to be done on it. We prepare
Okay.
an estimate with the amount of money that will have to be spent on it, and
Mm-hmm.
we present it to the government, and then they sanction the amount. And then in our presentation we suggest the materials and everything. And apart from that, we also had a materials lab in our office.
Okay.
So the lab used to work on a lot of new materials that we could use, or what materials were originally used in the monuments, and
Mm-hmm.
how much originality can we maintain, things like that.
So after this, your next job was where and what kind of a role was it?
Yeah. So as much as I liked my work in Intact, I think by that time I had worked 3 to 4 years there. I was 26, and I mean, I had to take the next step and also think of my future, because
Right.
since it was a NGO, government funded NGO, it was very difficult to make money there. We were paid really less, and I gained a lot of experience. But then I started taking up. I took 2 years, I think, and I started taking up turnkey projects on my own with my dad.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of residential interiors. Did a little commercial work uh,
Okay.
to establish myself in terms of money economics.
Okay.
And while I was doing one of the projects with my dad, it was the interiors of a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
The owner of the hospital owned a real estate firm, and they were expanding in terms of corporate interiors and hotels, and they wanted someone to lead their team.
Mm-hmm.
So then I joined them,
Okay.
and I'm working with them even till date. So
Okay.
from 2018 to 22, I'm still working with them.
Okay. So, Nayantara, tell us, for an architect, once you've done your bachelor's, in terms of your career growth, what counts more, the kind of projects you have done or the number of years of experience that you have?
So I think the kind of projects that you do, whether it is 2 years of experience, 3 years, 5 years, the kind of projects that you do is very important.
Mhm.
If you have to move from, say, one office to another, or you have to move up the ladder, then you
Right.
should have variety of projects, and
Mm-hmm.
you should have, like, we have divisions. We have retail interiors, we have
Okay.
corporate interiors, we have hospitality,
Mm-hmm.
we have institutional, we have hospitals. So these are different categories. So you
Okay.
can either pick up one field and
Mm-hmm.
do your expertise in that, or if you're picking up a variety of projects, then even if it is a short period of time, you should have complete knowledge and, you know, execute those variety of projects in a way that if you are shifting to another office, then uh, they should be able to give you any project and you should be able to execute it.
Right. So these verticals that you were talking about, the institutional or housing or commercial, is this specialization taught during the bachelor's course, or is it something that you're supposed to, pick up later on while you're working?
Yeah, so there are two ways of doing this. Our during our bachelor's, we are not really we don't have books. We don't have any specified books. We don't have any specific curriculum. So every year, the teachers come up with new projects. We, like, from first year, we are treated as architects. We are not treated as students. They will give us
Okay.
there are one or two subjects which are taught with the specifics of how to draw, how to measure, the technical aspects. But other than that, it's a very how do I say, uh, like I said,
Hands-on.
it's very instinctive. This course is very instinctive. You have to
Okay.
be passionate and you have to have that instinct in you to do well in it. So during the 5 years, you will be given a lot of projects, just like you will be
Mm-hmm.
given in the field. And how well you perform in those projects,
Mm-hmm.
you get to test out yourself. कि
Okay.
अच्छा, हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट किया है मेरे 4th ईयर में, am I interested in this? Is this what I want to do in future? So
Mm-hmm.
once you find that ground, after that you can do a specialization in masters in one of
Okay.
those. Or if you're going in for jobs, you have to pick up offices that are doing those specified projects,
Mm-hmm.
those specific projects. Like, a lot of builders are there who are doing a lot of housing projects. So they have
Right.
an architecture department. So if you're interested in housing, say, then you join them. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're interested in like organic architecture, then you join a firm which is maybe in the Himalayas, in the mountains somewhere, who are doing earthen architecture, you're doing organic architecture. So you have to
Okay.
choose based on your interest
Mm-hmm.
post your graduation,
Bachelor.
bachelor's, and accordingly choose your path.
Okay. So, for companies who are taking in architects, do they prefer people who've just done their bachelor, or are they now asking for masters before they start hiring?
Uh, of course, masters is a preference, and these days a lot of softwares have also come up,
Mm-hmm.
like new age softwares like Rhino, and these BMI, Rhino. These are all Revit. These are softwares that add to your skill.
Okay.
So even if you have done your bachelor's and you know a lot of high-end technical softwares, then it is quite easy for you to get into a bigger firm. And
Okay.
smaller firms, like most of the firms which are run by individual architects, they have their own practice, their own studio. There it is very different. Again, like I said, they don't pay a lot, but if you want to do some passionate projects, then you must join the smaller architects who have studios where there's it's all about your passion. You you can stay there for 12 hours, keep sketching, reinvent ideas, and you can experiment. That does not happen in bigger firms, like
Right.
like with the builders and the real estate firms. But yeah.
Okay, so after doing your masters, what are the kind of opportunities or options that open up for a architect?
Okay, so see, I always say that in India there is a dearth of people appreciating design. uh,
Right.
yeah, there is not. I think down south it is a little more. In Karnataka, in Pondi, in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, people are more open to appreciating design as a field. Up
Okay.
in the north, um people, there is, they feel,
Basic functional things will be okay
ah,
and done with.
yeah, they don't appreciate architecture, so to say, कि ये तो हमारा is the idea.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it is very much like that. But I feel that if you have done masters, the best thing to do in India currently is to join an architecture college where you can do a research program and you can also teach.
Mhm.
And then maybe you can do a PhD also with your research program. That's a very good option.
Okay.
And if you really want to do some good projects after your masters and get paid well, then a lot of Canada has a lot of opportunities.
Okay.
Germany has a lot of opportunities. Singapore had a lot of opportunities, but now it's stagnant because they don't have any more space.
Right.
Yeah, but Germany, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, these are the places where architects are flourishing at the moment.
Okay.
So, very good job opportunities there. In India, there are a lot of MNCs. I mean, again, you have to join either a real estate firm or a builders group. Uh, Kill your passion a little bit, then you earn
Okay.
money.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
So,
constant.
what is the scope? Over the years, has the scope for smaller individual architecture firms increased, or is it shrinking? The
No,
market per se.
it, it is shrinking. It is shrinking. It is shrinking.
Okay.
When I was doing architecture between 2008 to 2013, there was a lot of opportunities. There was a surge in the market for projects, and the intake in the architecture colleges was also less. We were only 40 people in one batch. So
Okay.
to get a seat is very difficult. Lesser colleges. In Delhi, there were only 3 colleges.
Mhm.
So, uh, 40 students, 3 colleges, that's it. And a lot of people apply every year. But now, then there was so much surge in the market that the intake doubled. After
Mhm.
I graduated, instead of 40, they started taking in 120 students.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and the fee of the course uh, was touching almost 20 lakhs for 5 years. So
Okay.
it was at a boom. Everybody wanted to be an architect. There were projects and everything. And now, I would say COVID has hit architecture the most
Okay.
because a lot of construction has slowed down. People don't want to pay architects. for design. And so even though the intake is still 120, this year in my college, only 38 students have enrolled. So,
Okay.
and all over India, there were 44,000 seats available.
Mm-hmm.
Only 11,000 have enrolled in architecture. So
That's
that's
like one-fourth, almost
that's
one-fourth.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a
So
great
anybody who is, thinking of getting into architecture or has a liking or a passion for it, what are those one or two things that you would want to give as a tip for them to be able to, get into this field and make it in the field?
Um, so yeah, it's a very interesting question. So first of all, I think your goals should be fixed. What is your goal? So like they say, अगर आपको poet भी बनना है या artist भी बनना है, तो if you have a strong economical background at home, then it's easier for you to become a poet because you don't
Right.
have to struggle to earn, and you can immerse yourself in fashion. So it's almost become similar in our field.
Okay.
So if you are really passionate about architecture, you must do it. But you must know what is your goal. If your goal is to become rich and get Mercedes and ye sab le lo and materialistic thing, then this is not your field, because it is going to take time for you to be
Mhm.
successful in this field. It, most of the architects are successful when they're 50. Before that, they are,
Okay.
yeah, it takes a
Struggling.
lot of time to establish. Like right now, I am at such a point कि मैं तो अभी भी मेरा starting ही है. मतलब मुझे आठ
Okay.
9 साल हो गए हैं, but I would still consider myself as a beginner because it takes time. You have to be at the right place to get the right projects, get the right contacts. So you
Mhm.
will only be successful when you are almost nearing your 50s. So you should be ready for the struggle. And
Okay.
this is if you have your passion with you. And if you are only thinking of earning money, then this is not the field. Then you should simply go in for engineering, do
Okay.
and earn money. Or the other thing is that if you really want to make money in this field, then you have to do turnkey projects, do a specialization, and then get into turnkey. Turnkey is something where you design and execute yourself. Yep.
Okay.
Investing in projects,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and go in for retail and commercial projects, which may be not creatively satisfying, but at least they will give you some money. So
Okay.
the aims and objectives should be very clear what you really want to do. So accordingly, you have to
Got it.
choose.
Thank you so much, Nayandara. It was really nice speaking to you and very insightful when it comes into the field of architecture. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So that was Miss Nandara Bose sharing with us her experience as an architect and how the field has been changing over the years. So if you're somebody who's passionate about the field, please keep a few things in mind, like one, you need to have the resources as the course fee is really high, and also your starting few years, a little more than few years, would be full of struggle. And if you're looking for following just your passion in terms of designing and everything, your option would be far greater and opportunities would be far more if you were to look for jobs outside India rather than India. I hope you enjoy this session, learn and understand what it will take to be an architect, and it would require just more than passion, a lot of determination, understanding and very fixed goals if you want to get into this field. I hope you enjoyed this session, and if you have any questions that you want to ask her, please do write below in the comments and we'll get back to you. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.